I Love CVille Network. My name is Jerry Miller. The show is presented by the Clifton. The Clifton in Keswick, memorable experiences at the Clifton. Whether fine dining, happy hour, events, or weddings, the Clifton in Keswick makes memories. So much we're going to cover on today's show. I'm going to lead the program with some breaking news for you. Breaking news that you will most certainly see in the legacy or traditional media outlets after today's show, just like you did earlier in the week with the Anna's Pizza story. And remember, on Monday, the Anna's Pizza family live on set. This Monday, the Anna's Pizza family live on set. We're going to tell the story of 46 years in business for Anna's Pizza. And on set, and I'm going to call it up right now, we will have, it's going to be a great show, Maria Busetta, Marcella Watson, and Silvana Early. The ladies you see at Anna's Pizza on set on Monday to showcase a 46-year legacy of serving the Charlottesville and Central Virginia community. So here's the breaking news. Devil's Backbone Brewing Company is going to open a satellite or pilot brewery and restaurant on West Main Street in the old Skipping Rock Hardywood Pilot Brewery location. That is breaking news. You've seen it nowhere else. I'll give you the news one more time. Devil's Backbone, a brand owned by the Anheuser-Busch InBev conglomerate. Devil's Backbone is opening a satellite brewery and potential restaurant in the former location on West Main Street of Hardywood Pilot Brewery and Skipping Rock Brewery. That is breaking news. Let's talk nitty-gritty here before we welcome young Jedi Joey Rifkin to the program. This place has been empty and dormant for an extended period of time. Skipping Rock, a Valley institution, came on this show when they were launching this satellite brewery right before COVID. It was just bad timing for Skipping Rock. They came on this show before COVID and made a big splash about entering the Charlottesville market with a satellite brewery on West Main Street. Then COVID hit. They were open for a New York minute and then shut down because it was hemorrhaging money. Before Skipping Rock was in that location, Hardywood Pilot Brewery was in that location. Hardywood Pilot Brewery is a Richmond icon. They make fantastic beer. The Great Return from Hardywood is awesome. The gingerbread stout and all the gingerbread stout variants are absolutely awesome. Hardywood Pilot Brewery on West Main Street shuttered and closed after a handful of years of serving the Charlottesville community. So, the third brewery to make a push at this location is Devil's Backbone. Devil's Backbone, undoubtedly more capitalized, cash on hand. They're owned by InBev, Anheuser-Busch. They're more capitalized, have more cash on their balance sheet than Skipping Rock and Hardywood combined. That is a fact. Devil's Backbone, of any brewery in Central Virginia, is best situated to open another satellite tap room on West Main Street in that location. And here's why they're the best situated brand in craft beer from Central Virginia. Hell, you can make a legitimate argument, maybe the best Virginia beer brand in the Commonwealth to pursue that spot that may be cursed. A lot of people are saying 1000 West Main Street is cursed. I'll tell you why people are saying it's cursed, but first let me tell you why I think Devil's Backbone, of any beer brand in Central Virginia, maybe any beer brand in the Commonwealth, why they're best set up to have success there. They have a boatload of money, man. Devil's Backbone has a boatload of money because the Anheuser-Busch InBev purchased them. And because they have a boatload of money and a faucet of cash, they have burn rate. They have burn rate, and they have an opportunity to try different things because of that cash. Devil's Backbone has satellite. Let's see if I can find them. I'm going to go to the website right now. Devil's Backbone Brewing Company. Breaking news here. Devil's Backbone is going to 1000 West Main Street, the former home of Skipping Rock, the former home of Hardywood Brewery. They have an ABC license in the pending stage of application right now. It's pending. It is pending right now, their beer application. I'm going to their website. I'm hitting the location page as I speak. Oh no, I got to put in my birthday on the website? Seriously? Come on now. I've been drinking beer since I was 12 years old. Since I was 21 years old. Why do I have to put in this birthday on the website here? All right, I'm putting in my website here. The locations. They have Lexington, Virginia, a tap room and kitchen. What are the other locations? Man, doing this on the fly is no easy task. Can you see if you could find the locations for Devil's Backbone, JR?
Yeah.
Thank you. They have multiple tap rooms all over Virginia, and I believe they even dabbled in the Manhattan, New York City market. I'm just looking for the tap rooms. Their base camp is in Nelson County. Their base camp is in Nelson County. God, I just got more breaking news on my phone from Barracks Road Shopping Center. I have another piece of breaking news that I'm going to be sending to you guys that literally was just sent to me from a stakeholder and insider. Moments coming up for more breaking news. I'm looking at my phone right now. More breaking news coming to you guys right now. Let's stick with Devil's Backbone. Good God, breaking news everywhere here. They got cash on hand because of the ties to Anheuser-Busch. They've had success opening up satellite tap rooms all over the Commonwealth. Joey Rifkin's going to let us know where those locations are here in a matter of moments. They have diversified their portfolio of booze. Not only are they just selling beer, but they're selling spirits as well. And I don't know if you guys, but the food at Devil's Backbone at Base Camp in Nelson County is pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. So they have diversified streams and a rich cash position thanks to the Anheuser-Busch purchase. Now let's talk about why we think that spot might be cursed. Let's talk about David. Thank you for that comment. David from Skooma watching the program. He says it's the Lark on Main building, 1000 West Main Street. He's exactly right. 4,000 square feet and everything in the space conveys. We love you, David. I love you, David. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, the best dispensary in Charlottesville, downtown mall and on Elliowood Avenue, locally owned and operated. Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Let's talk about why that spot might be cursed. It's kind of in this purgatory. And what I mean by it's locational purgatory, 1000 West Main. It's not on the UVA corner, and it's not on the downtown mall. It's not on the UVA corner, and it's not even in Midtown Charlottesville, where like Maya and Continental Divide and Oakhart Social and Little Star and those restaurants are located. The parking scenario stinks. There's no parking there. So locals are a bit hesitant in this car-centric community, vehicle-centric community we live in to go there because there's not on-site parking. Even the World of Beer location and World of Beer, that location's been shut down for an extended period of time. Even that location had a parking deck in the building. This one doesn't. Where are you going to park? That's one of the things it has going against it. Another of the things, man, breaking news is coming in left and right on my phone right now. Another thing that it has going against it is this locational purgatory between the UVA corner and the downtown mall, between the UVA corner and Midtown on West Main Street. So Devil's Backbone at this location is going to have to utilize a marketing strategy to lure UVA students from the corner and get them to walk a handful of blocks down West Main to their location. It's also going to have to utilize marketing strategy to lure locals from the downtown mall and West Main Street, Midtown, to that location in the Lark building. And it's really going to have to explain through its marketing strategy the lack of parking and why it's no big deal. Still, of any beer brand in Virginia, and you have those locations?
Couldn't find.
Okay.
I mean, I found locations, but like I found 2 locations on their website.
Let's go to the 2-shot and get Joey Rifkin in the mix. So you can hear that baritone voice is one of young Jedi, Joey Rifkin. Viewers and listeners, Bob Yarborough, are you watching the program, Bobby Y? Bobby Yarborough, the king of Redfields. You would know this, Bobby Yarborough. Bobby Yarborough is a smart man. Are you watching the program, Bobby Y? What other locations, tap rooms, does Devil's Backbone have? I know they have Lexington, and I know they have primary base camp in Nelson County. What other locations does Devil's Backbone have around this area? I would like some intel on that, please. Devil's Backbone is going to have to create a marketing campaign that appeals to locals and gets them going to a location that's on the fringe of the UVA corner. Locals are hesitant to go to that spot. Furthermore, it's going to have to create a branding and marketing campaign that appeals to locals and solves this conundrum, the lack of parking. Devil's Backbone is also going to have to create a marketing campaign that appeals to students and gets them to walk further past the UVA corner and Boylan Heights to their location. Another conundrum they're going to have is the beer space in Charlottesville City is saturated, crowded, and very competitive. You're getting to the point where you got to start wondering if there's a craft beer bubble locally. I mean, everywhere you look, there's another brewery in a 10.2 square mile city we call Charlottesville. Off the top of our heads, Charlottesville City breweries. Put them in the feed, guys. I'm literally doing this on the fly. You got Champion Brewing Company in Charlottesville city limits. You got Three Notch Brewing Company in Charlottesville city limits. You got Selvage Brewing Company that is just over the city line into Albemarle County. You got Random Row Brewing Company in Charlottesville city limits. South Street Brewing Company in Charlottesville city limits. Rockfish has 2 locations in Charlottesville city limits. One on Preston and one on the downtown mall. We'll call that 7 locations. Decipher, a brewing company that's just over the Charlottesville line in Albemarle County. That's 8. I'm also going to include Selvage in there. BJ's Brew House brews beer. I know that's a chain brewery, but I'm going to put them in the mix. That's 9. North American Sake Brewery and Restaurant. I understand that's sake, but they're still brewing booze. That's 10. Reason Beer is now Champion. We'll throw them in the mix. That's 11. I mean, you got beer everywhere. Then you got Albemarle County, 5-10 miles away from Charlottesville City. That's probably got another 5 or 6. Pro Renata, Star Hill, Blue Mountain. Three Notch bought the Wild Wolf spot on 150 Fun. Decipher Brewing Company is the king of content, Neil Williamson has said. You're starting to wonder if there is a legitimate beer bubble, craft beer bubble locally in this market. We only have so many people. There's only so many people. On top of that, we're undoubtedly in a recession right now, and 2023 is going to be worse from a disposable income standpoint. Now, traditionally in recessionary periods, alcohol has proven to be very insulated from tough times. You know why that is? Because when people are down in the dumps and they're sad and they're angry or they're frustrated and they're suicidal, they're not sleeping, they're feeling nasty, or they're happy, or they want to succeed and celebrate success, or they're looking to hook up and meet a chica or chico at the bar. You know what they're doing? Most of them are boozing. And traditionally, historically, booze has been insulated from recessions. Joey Rifkin. Devil's Backbone, West Main Street. Pretty big news right there. This could be an opportunity to further bridge the most important stretch in Charlottesville City from the UVA corner and the University of Virginia to the downtown mall with an icon. What's on the medulla oblongata over there?
Well, I think personally the real issue is kids now. I shouldn't say kids, but people my age and around my age.
He's 21.
I'm of age to drink.
You guys ain't boozing as much.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's more, people don't drink craft beers as much. People don't, seltzer is kind of like the huge thing now. It's like every brand has their own kind of, even Bang energy drinks has their own hard seltzer now.
Devil's Backbone has a seltzer.
I was just checking it out on their website. And that seems to be the more common way that I see people my age drinking in terms of like canned or bottled products.
Why is that? Is it the caloric intake?
I don't think it's so much about the calories as much as it is, personally, I just think the flavor just resonates with the young people more. I mean, it's more of the kind of fruity, it's kind of like soda, some of them, I know Crown Royal makes a ready-to-drink canned product. They do an apple and a Coke one, and the Crown Royal Cola is like very good, and I would take that over beer. So I just think people are looking more to those ready-to-drink cocktails that you see in cans in every liquor store now, and there's tons of them. It's not just like a couple brands are doing seltzers. I mean, it seems like over the past 4 years, the hard seltzer market has just exploded.
He's 100% right. He's a smart guy. Joey Rifkin, smart guy. Three Notch is doing a hard seltzer. Devil's Backbone is doing a hard seltzer. Everyone in craft beer saw what? White Claw.
I mean, I think White Claw and Truly were like...
They're the market leaders.
They must be.
I know for a fact.
Okay.
So
yeah.
White Claw and Truly have the most market share. And craft beer started seeing... Dude, smart guy. Give him props. Craft beer started seeing White Claw and Truly and seltzer stealing market share from beer. I mean, there was a time that all people wanted to drink were IPAs. Hoppy stuff. Now it's changed. Maybe the movement's changed tied to calories and wanting to look better and feeling fit. Maybe it's what JR is saying. It's just the flavor profile that resonates with Gen Zers more. Maybe it's Truly and White Claw are doing a better job of doing marketing, because every time you see Truly and White Claw, you're seeing freaking beautiful people drinking it in the campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, the marketing for those seltzer brands too is very, and you can see that with other major beer companies, and their marketing has changed to compare a beer commercial from today to one of 10 years ago, and I think...
let's go down that road. What are you seeing in the collateral?
Well, I mean, they're just clearly marketing towards younger people in a different way. I mean, I, of course, wasn't paying attention to beer commercials 10 years ago, but, I also kind of, in my own opinion, seem to think that most commercials kind of look the same nowadays, especially when it comes to, like, drink products. They all look the same, in my opinion. And so, like, and I guess that's why I feel this way. They're all kind of that, like, the colors are really poppy, lots of, like, moving around shots, and it, like, gives you a headache, and, like, and that's, I guess, is just my younger generation. We've grown up watching cartoons and TV and stuff like that, and subconsciously those things will, that kind of content will keep our attention, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a marketing genius, but there clearly must be something to it, because it seems like every canned product has almost the exact same commercial nowadays.
Well said. Very well said. Let's take a walk through Charlottesville. Let's take a walk through Charlottesville City and Albemarle County urban ring. And let's consider the breweries in Charlottesville City and Albemarle urban ring. Okay? And why don't we start north of town, Albemarle County. Albemarle County, north of town. And viewers and listeners, I'm going to need your help here. Neil Williamson, I'm going to need your help. Lauren, I'm going to need your help. Scott Aaronworth, I'm going to need your help. Colleen Tyler, Noel Jurgensen, I'm going to need your help. Juan Sarmiento, I'm going to need your help. JR, I'm going to need your help. North of town, we're going to say we're going to hit as many breweries as possible. Albemarle County, urban ring. I'm not going to include, I will include Pro Renata, but I will not include 151, Route 151 Nelson County. Because I think the people that are going Pro Renata and in are not necessarily from a day-to-day standpoint going to 151. More tourists and Nelson Countyans and Northern Virginians out there. So I'm going to go Albemarle County and in, north of town. BJ's Brew House, I'm going to write these down. I'm going to open up a new tab so we can keep track of these together. BJ's Brew House is a brewery. Say what you want about BJ's. It's a brewery. People go there. They spend their money. Yes, I know it's a chain. It still counts.
They spend their money.
It still counts, though.
I'll never do it again.
It still counts. To put it in perspective, BJ's Brew House had the cash position to host the UVA basketball coaches show at the location. That's how much cash that they had. That ain't cheap. Virginia Sports Properties values that at a hell of a lot of money. So BJ's Brew House. I'm going to include Reason Brewery up there behind Custom Inc. That still counts. Reason Brewery. Then we're starting coming to town. I need your help here, guys. Random Row Brewery. We'll include Pro Renata out there, but that's right on the cusp. We drive from Charlottesville and Albemarle, different side of Albemarle, in the eastern Albemarle portion of the county, to western Albemarle for Pro Renata because the beer is good and it's family atmosphere. I'm putting Pro Renata on that list. Rockfish Brewing Company, who might have some of the best beer in the area. Peter brews legitimately some of the best beers I've ever had. Rockfish gets included ×2 because Rockfish has a location on Preston Avenue and now on the downtown mall. As Lauren has said, Star Hill is in Dairy Market. Shoot, if I'm including Pro Renata and Crozet, I got to include Star Hill ×2 because there's a Star Hill on Crozet as well. So Star Hill ×2. So now you got BJ's Brewhouse 1, Reason Beer 2, Random Row is 3. Yes, I know Champion and Reason merged. Pro Renata is 4. Rockfish 5. Another Rockfish 6. Star Hill Dairy Market 7. Star Hill Crozet 8, 3 Notch 9, 10 Decipher Brewing Company, 11 Selvage Brewing Company. You may see one of my favorite Esquires, Jim Hingley, at Selvage from time to time. Love you, Jim.
Can we count Bold Rock or is cider not count?
Well, Bold Rock, Nelson County?
Yeah.
I'm not going to include 151 because I think that's just right outside the outskirts. I'll do a different category for 151. And the other category for 151 would be Blue Mountain, would be Devil's Backbone. We'll include what he's saying, Bold Rock, which is a good call. 3 Notch bought the Wild Wolf spot on 151. That'll be a different category. We'll stick with Charlottesville and Albemarle County, Urban Ring and Inn. BJ's Brewhouse 1, Reason Brewery 2, Random Row 3, Pro Renata 4, Rockfish 5, another Rockfish location 6, Star Hill Crozet 7, Star Hill Dairy Market 8, 3 Notch Ix 9, Decipher 10, Selvage 11. What am I missing? What am I missing? Help me out, viewers and listeners. What am I missing in Charlottesville City, Albemarle County, Urban Ring and Inn? Ooh, South Street. Noelle Jurgensen. Love you, Noelle Jurgensen. She says South Street. That's 12. Charlottesville's oldest brewery. The brewery first in Charlottesville history is South Street. South Street barely beat Star Hill from an opening standpoint. Star Hill used to be located on West Main Street. South Street, by a few months, opened before Star Hill. What am I missing, guys? Brewing Tree, Nelson County 1, I'm going to put on the other list. Good call. Brewing Tree in Nelson. So, Albemarle County, Urban Ring, and I'm going to stretch the Urban Ring to include Pro Renata and Inn, including Charlottesville City. You have BJ's Brewhouse, you have Reason, Oh, I forgot Champion. Hunter, how could I forget you, Hunter? Hunter, Champion we'll put on that list. BJ's Brewhouse 1. And this is not ranked in order of liking or coolness or anything like that. It's just putting in a count of how many that are out there. BJ's Brewhouse, Random Row, Reason, Pro Renata, Rockfish Location Preston, Rockfish Location Downtown Mall, Star Hill Crozet, Star Hill Dairy Market, Three Notch Ix, Decipher Woolen Mills, Selvage Woolen Mills, South Street Downtown Mall, and Champion Belmont. That is 13 breweries in the Albemarle County Urban Ring and Inn, including the city of Charlottesville. 13 of them. Let's do this now. Population. I'm literally doing this on the fly. Albemarle County. Albemarle County's population is 2020 census 109,000. I'm rounding up. Albemarle County is 109,000. 109,000. Let's do population Charlottesville City. It's right under 50,000, I believe. 2020 census 47,000. I'm rounding down. Charlottesville City, 47,000. So here is the nitty-gritty. Albemarle County Urban Ring in Charlottesville City, you have 13 breweries. 13 of them. Oh, what about the new one that's opening, Neon Brewery? Neon Brewery is just opening. That's another one. That's 14. Neon Brewery. The first black-owned brewery in Commonwealth history is Neon Brewing Company. I'll put them on the list. That's 14 in Albemarle County Urban Ring and Inn and the Charlottesville City. Of those 14 breweries, you have approximately a total population of, quick math, 110, 157, call it 160,000 people in Albemarle County and Charlottesville City. Eventually, you got to scratch your head and say, is this a potential bubble? Is this not oversaturated? That does not even include Nelson County institutions that are on a completely separate list. Blue Mountain, Blue Mountain Barrel House. Blue Mountain's got 151, and then they got Blue Mountain Barrel House out there by Colleen in Nelson County, by the Cone. When you're driving south, Blue Mountain Barrel House. Oh, Woodridge Brewery. If I'm including Pro Renata and Star Hill on the first list, I got to include Woodridge Brewery on that list as well. You have 15 breweries in Albemarle County, Urban Ring, and Charlottesville City, and a total population of 160,000 people. 15 breweries. And then on Nelson County, you have Blue Mountain 151, Blue Mountain Barrel House. You got Devil's Backbone Base Camp. You got Three Notch opening out there where they're going to build their own base camp. I broke that news for you. Three Notch on 151 is going to do a distillery where they're going to brew beer, liquor, seltzer, have live music, running trails, and ample opportunity to do live events like weddings and corporate retreats. Three Notch bought Wild Wolf Brewing Company a while back. You also have Bold Rock. You have Brewing Tree. Jeez, there's so many freaking breweries. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm literally doing this on the fly here. How many miles do you think how many miles do you think 151 is? In fact, I'll put it in a Google Maps. I'm literally doing this on the fly. How many miles is Devil's Backbone Base Camp from this office on the downtown mall? It is 35 miles away. From the city of Charlottesville, within 35 miles of the city of Charlottesville, you have 21 locations that brew booze. I'm not including Brasier Saison on that. I've never seen any beer brewed at Brasier Saison. I've not seen beer brewed there. Have you seen beer brewed at Brasier Saison? I have not. You have 21 locations within 35 miles that brew booze. What's your take on that?
Too much. Not enough people drink beer nowadays to justify having that much.
Oh, Patch Brewery. Jesus, how could I have forgotten you? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show that there's so many.
The owner of Patch Brewery says, Jerry, you're forgetting me. Andre Xavier. I'm sorry. Silverback Distillery. Sarah Hill Buchensky. How could I forget you? Sarah Hill Buchensky. How could I forget you? I apologize. Patch Brewery. Silverback Distillery. Good God. Joey Rifkin, I need your intellect here. Within 35 miles of the city of Charlottesville, BJ's Brewhouse, Reason Brewery, Random Row, Pro Renata, Rockfish Preston, Rockfish Downtown Mall, Star Hill Crozet, Star Hill Dairy Market, Three Notch X Park, Decipher Brewing Company, Salvage Brewing Company, South Street Brewing Company, Champion Brewing Company, Neon Brewing Company, Woodridge Brewing Company, Blue Mountain 151, Blue Mountain Barrel House, Devil's Backbone Base Camp, Three Notch in the old Wild Wolf location, Bold Rock Hard Cider, Brewing Tree in Nelson, Patch Brewing Company in Gordonsville, Silverback Distillery in Nelson. Jesus, you got 23 brands that brew booze within 35 miles of the city of Charlottesville. I'm at a loss for words. You take the show over. I got to stop talking. I got to catch my breath, please. The show is yours, show.
I mean, personally, I don't see the reason for that many. But I don't know. I am not in the beer market. I'm not a huge beer drinker. I'm definitely not a craft beer guy. I like a very mild light beer.
Curtis Shaver, Jay Wyatt. There's more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, I'm sorry. No disrespect to anyone who brews beer, runs their own brewery, but I just think more and more people nowadays are just not.
More and more people nowadays. I'll cut to the chase. And you know what? I'm going to straight up cut to the chase. More people nowadays are smoking weed. More people nowadays are enjoying edibles.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
Is that not true?
Sure, but I don't think that's taking away.
You don't think that's taken away
beer.
With limited disposable income out there during a recessionary times? You got a 50 spot over a course of a week for some entertainment. Are you going to buy a 3.5 gram bag of green? Or are you going to buy a couple of cases of craft beer?
I mean, not for $50. I'm not going to buy a 3.5 bag of green.
Okay, you're saying that's a little light?
I'm saying that's a little expensive.
Okay, so you're doing the seltzer?
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm not.
You don't have to choose your words carefully. I mean, your dad is watching the program.
So I mean, he knows what I'm gonna buy with that 50 spot.
What are you buying with that 50 spot?
I'm not buying beer. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Okay, we can leave it at that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying alcohol. I'm buying green.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not. Oregano. You know, I'm a cook. So.
You can do whatever, dude. No one's judging.
No, I know. I don't care if
no one's judging.
Leeds Weagle, man.
Yeah, no one's judging. I've said on this program before, you'd rather have somebody coming at you in a car that smoked a little green that was 7 or 8 beers deep.
Well, I mean, that is certainly true. I would definitely take that.
Because that person's driving 5 miles under the speed limit. Hands on the wheel, 10 and 3, scared bejeebus. And I've also made this comment here that green is going to help people with anxiety, get to sleep, people that have pain, people that aren't hungry. There's so many positive benefits of green. And if it wasn't for crappy movies like Reefer Madness, it would have been destigmatized long ago and would have been on the shelves of grocery stores long ago.
I mean, we don't need to even get into the whole problem with the stigmatization of weed throughout history. My opinion on it is, you know.
You want to know one of the biggest boguses, one of the most bogus things not one of the most bogus things in America, but certainly something that's very bogus. people of color, folks that are black and brown, are 3.5 times more likely to get arrested with something associated with marijuana than people that have skin like Joey and I's. And that is effed up. Agreed?
100%. I'm just trying to look, just correct me, was it Reagan who started the war on drugs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The war on drugs, in my firm opinion, was a disguise for a war on black people and minorities. I'm going to just say that right now. That is 100% what I believe. The war on drugs was made to demonize and marginalize people, and also the government contributed to the distribution of drugs throughout the country. So we don't even need to get into
That's a different show.
Yeah,
we're on similar pages though.
But yeah. So, but I still don't think
You know what it was? And I actually had somebody that was a huge weed proponent. She was a PhD, and I will look on the show, a PhD from a university. She said it went even further back than that. During Prohibition, when booze became legal, it went from Prohibition to booze became illegal. The government had a boatload of enforcers during Prohibition that were then about to lose their jobs. And they had to figure out a way to keep these people employed. So then they started finding ways to keep government officials, after booze became legal, after Prohibition, employed. So they started going after drugs. And it goes as far back as that. Now, to your point, during the Ronald Reagan era, they started stigmatizing ganja, green, weed, hippie lettuce.
Mm-hmm. Heavy.
And they made it the devil's juice. They made it the devil's product. When let's cut to the chase, it has many, many benefits.
I mean, let's be real. Alcohol is, by definition, a poison. Weed is, by definition, a drug, but it has significantly more benefits than alcohol, which alcohol has literally zero benefits. I am not someone who's going to be weed's curing cancer, man. I'm not out here saying that. But I am saying that there is empirical data that shows that weed has helped people with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, people with seizures. I mean, there's plenty of positive uses for it. People with eating disorders. And it is not fair that someone arrested in the 90s got locked up for 10 years or so for having a joint or two in their pocket.
Look, this is a completely different show. We digress. But
yeah. Well, I want to get back to your original question, though, I guess.
No, and we have more people offering knowledge for us here. This is going freaking viral right now, as we expected it was going to go viral. We have to add more people to the list, more brands to the list, courtesy of one of the best chefs I know, Curtis Shaver, who's watching at Peloton Station right now, and courtesy of the gentleman farmer, Jay Wyant. The gentleman farmer, Jay Wyant, who's offering some perspective on the feed as we speak. Jay Wyant says Blue Toad Hard Cider needs to be on the list. He's exactly right. That's within 35 miles of Charlottesville. The executive chef of Peloton Station, one of the best spots in the business, says Potter's Craft Cider needs to be on the list. And then multiple people are putting on the feed, while not in Albemarle County, within 35 miles of the city of Charlottesville, do not forget Basic City in Waynesboro and Stable Craft Brewery. Stable Craft Brewery is another one. Okay? So I'm going to give you this list. Within 35 miles of Charlottesville City, these are the opportunities for you to spend disposable income at brands that brew booze. That's alliteration for you, JR.
Very nice. I love alliteration.
Brands brewing booze. Bodacious brands brewing booze. Ballsy, bodacious brands brewing booze.
Now you're grabbing at straws.
Okay, I'm grabbing at straws. Thank you, Joey. Joey, reel me in. Within 35 miles of Charlottesville, BJ's Brewhouse, Reason Brewery, Random Row Brewery, Pro Renata, Rockfish Preston, Rockfish Downtown Mall, Star Hill Crozet, Star Hill Dairy Market, Three Notch Icks, Decipher Brewing Company, Woolen Mills, Salvage Brewing Company, Woolen Mills, South Street Brewing Company, downtown, Champion Brewing Company, downtown Belmont. Neon Brewing Company, soon to open. Woodridge Brewing Company, Albemarle County, Nelson County line. Blue Mountain 151. Blue Mountain Barrel House, Colleen, Nelson County. Devil's Backbone Base Camp. Three Notch 151. Bold Rock Hard Cider, Nelson County, 151. Brewing Tree 151. Patch Brewing Company, Gordonsville. Silverback Distillery, Nelson County. Blue Toad Hard Cider, Nelson County. Potter's Craft Brewery, where do you call Potter's? Southern Albemarle County? And isn't Potter's opening a new location elsewhere? Tell me where that new location is opening elsewhere, Curtis. Tell me, Curtis. Where's that new location opening elsewhere, Curtis? Tell me. And are they going to keep the original location, Curtis? Tell me, Curtis. Octavia Brewing Company, Greene County. Basic City Brewing Company, Waynesboro. Stablecraft Brewing Company, Waynesboro. Good God. That is, ladies and gentlemen,
It's a lot of beer.
28 bodacious, ballsy brands brewing booze. 28, and I swear I'm forgetting one or two. 28 of them. Here's the next question I have to ask you. The next question, Wild Man Dan, Castle Hill. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Jay Wyant. The gentleman farmer, Jay Wyant, says, Wild Man Dan. I love you guys so much. Jay Wyant, if you're here, I'd give you a flying chest bump. I'd give you a flying chest bump. Wild Man Brewing Company. Castle Hill is another one. Castle Hill. How can I forget Castle Hill? They brew cider. This doesn't even include the vineyards or the wineries, JR. I'm not even including the vineyards and the wineries. So with Wild Man Dan and with Castle Hill, we're at 30 ballsy, bodacious brands brewing booze. 30. Here's the next question. The next question I have to ask you. We have 30 ballsy, bodacious brewing brands within 35 miles of Charlottesville in a recession on the horizon, and we haven't even felt it yet. Disposable income will be few and far between. People are going to tighten the budget. Are we seeing a bubble on the horizon? Albemarle County and Charlottesville City have a total population of roughly 160,000 people. And literally, on the fly, we just created a list of 30 ballsy, bodacious brands brewing booze. Joey says that's too much.
Let's reel it in here, Jerry.
I love you, Joey. I love Joey.
It's a lot.
Philip Dow just gave us another one.
And this is gonna...
James River Brewing Company in Scottsville. James River Brewing Company in Scottsville. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reeling it in. That's 31.
31 and counting.
31 that
counting.
In counting. I can assure you we're missing some.
We must be at this point.
Right?
We must be.
Who are we missing? That's 31 brands brewing booze.
That's 5,000 people per brewery in the area.
God, smart guy right there.
Quick math.
Joey, that was legit. For every brand brewing booze, it's 5,000 citizens in Albemarle County in the city of Charlottesville. Roughly.
Of course, yeah.
We got that one. Chris Jensen, we did. Thank you, sir. KJ, we love you, Chris Jensen. The scion of the late, great Pat Jensen, a talented realtor in the area, Chris Jensen. He says there's one in Greene County, Octavia. We got that one. Yes, sir. For every 5,000 people in Charlottesville City and Albemarle County, there is one brand brewing booze. Dudes, 2023 is about to be as Darwinistic a period of time as we have seen in 15 years. American credit card debt is at an all-time high. All-time high. Groceries are kicking us in the nuts. Albemarle County and Charlottesville City, roughly 160,000 people, and we just rattled off on the fly, and I can assure you we're missing some, 31 brands brewing booze. Joey Rifkin, what's on the brain? That doesn't even include the vineyards and wineries. Where there are more of them.
I mean, I got some unfortunate news to say to, small independent brewery owners.
Which we love. Anyone local.
Yeah, no.
We're not throwing shade.
Nothing, no disrespect. Appreciate, following what you're passionate about. I'm just warning, and what I'm about to say is completely my opinion, but I feel it's going to be very hard, maybe not so much for wineries, but more in particular breweries, to make it out of this recession that we find ourselves heading towards. Because, again, I just think the market for craft beers is dwindling. I just don't think people nowadays really care as much about beers in that sense as they used to. And I see a lot less people drinking beers. I worry that is a staggering amount that I couldn't even name 5.
We forgot more.
I'm sure we did, but I couldn't even name 5 before today, and now we've listed 31
It's about to be 33. Jim Hinchley, Commonwealth's Attorney of Albemarle County, and he's also passed along the code from the General Assembly, which was passed in 2021, when it comes to ganja, green, weed, hippie lettuce. I'll pass that code along to you. He also says you have to include Hazy Mountain on that list. They brew beer. And Kelsey says Meriwether Farm and Ivy. The Pierce's business. I love Andy Pierce and I love Coach Pierce. Ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to 30. You're going to have to do the math now. 160,033 brands brewing booze. There are 33 brands brewing booze within 35 miles of Charlottesville City and roughly 160,000 citizens. What do we get? Young Jedi, JR.
Well, I actually want to...
4,800 citizens, 4,848 citizens.
Man, the number's getting smaller.
Per
the ratio's
33
getting smaller.
brands brewing booze. What was on your brain?
Well, I want to address what Michael Buchensky put in the comment section about DUI stats. I don't have exact statistics for DUIs, but I will in this area. But I will share some alarming news for people that drive in the area. Albemarle County is at the top for vehicle fatalities and vehicle accidents in the entire Commonwealth. And just so you know, at the times from, I think, 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock from 10 o'clock on Friday to 6 o'clock on Saturday, about 1 in 5 people on the road are intoxicated, and that includes from around 10 o'clock Sunday into 6 o'clock.
Cite your source.
My source comes from, my book is in my car, but I completed the second part of my defensive driving course last week. And so my sources, I don't know if the times are exact, but my sources are, what's his name? Gregory Blair from the National Highway Safety Council.
Ooh.
DMV certified, all that. $280 class. Learned a lot, and really, good to take a defensive driving class if you need to for legal reasons or if you want to. Because I think that's a good point, actually, talking about DUIs and the fact that there's so much access to alcohol in the area. That might also be a contributing factor on why we have such high vehicle fatality rates in the area.
Joey Rifkin, dropping knowledge and backing it up with statistical fact from firsthand experience, a class he has taken. We missed another one. Mount Ida brews their own beer. That takes us to 34 brands brewing booze. 160,000, the population roughly of Charlottesville City and Albemarle County combined. 160,000 divided by 34, 4,705 citizens per each one of these 34. And how much you want to bet we're forgetting a few others?
And how much of those citizens actually drink?
Exactly. How many of those citizens are children?
Yeah, exactly.
How many of those citizens are in elementary school?
Yeah.
Or in pre-K4 like my son?
Yeah.
How many of those citizens are completely sober or don't drink like my dad and my mom?
Exactly.
How many of those citizens are pregnant like my wife and currently are not drinking?
Shouldn't be drinking.
Shouldn't be drinking. She's not drinking.
Good.
I mean, that 4,750 people per 34 locations, that's not even reflective or indicative of the actual market.
Yeah. I mean, that is a very rough and very generous estimate.
Now, you can make a legitimate argument that tourists are coming to this area, which would inflate the data because they're coming here to spend their money to patronize the brands brewing booze.
Right, but these aren't return customers.
Not on the reg.
Not on the reg.
That's gravy train for
But
them.
also when you have so many locations, that's a lot of...
Philip Dow, King of Scottsville, to Joey Rifkin's point, based on my memory, there were 10 fatalities on Route 20 last year alone.
Sounds about... in Virginia, Virginia has about 160 vehicle fatalities every year in Virginia alone. Well, 160... Yes, every year.
Kevin Higgins makes this point. King of Greenwood. Philip Dow is the King of Scottsville. Kevin Higgins makes this point. I think this is our market, though, and it will only get stronger. Everything you are talking about creates jobs and brings in tax revenue. We are not just UVA anymore. We are now a vacation destination, and we are only going to get started. The recession will not turn this tide. I give this area 5 years from being the second wine destination to Sonoma or Napa Valley, California.
That I will somewhat agree with. I think our winery, the wineries in the area are very strong, and will only continue to do better, I think. I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, we went to the grocery store behind our apartment to get a bottle of wine one night, and the bottle we picked just happened to be from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Get out of town.
100% true story.
What'd you pick?
I don't know. I wasn't drinking.
But you saw the label?
But I was with my roommate who was 21 at the time. I was only 19. He just picks this random bottle, goes, "Oh, I wonder where it's from." We turn it around, and it's Charlottesville, Virginia. So I know that Charlottesville, Virginia wineries have some reach. I know wineries are very popular. I know there's some big ones. So I think wineries, and personally in my opinion, I would go to a winery before a brewery. Just, I don't know, seems cool, but I don't think you can list 35 wineries in the area.
Curtis Shaver, Peloton Station. There's a Bold Rock on Carter's Mountain. They need to be added to the list.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking of.
So we are now at, with the Bold Rock. Curtis, you made the show better today. Peloton Station. Go to Peloton Station. Great for families. Great for happy hour. Fantastic fair price menu. Very spacious place. Peloton Station, and I'll say it again, Peloton Station. With Curtis' suggestion, Bold Rock, Carter's Mountain, you are now at 35 brands brewing booze within 35 miles of Charlottesville. Danny O'Day says this: Well, as long as our demographics continue to trend toward wealthy people moving into the community and forcing out more traditional and standard population bases, these type of businesses will succeed. But to his point, who's going to service the businesses? That's a great point.
Well,
You got the wealth in the area to potentially support the 35, but do you have, because of the obscene cost of living, the staff to keep the 35 in operation? That's a great point.
no. And another thing is, working in a brewery falls under food and beverage and that side of the service industry. And you're looking at nowadays more and more people walking away from that industry. So
Oh, you're saying it falls in food and beverage in that it's a service industry. It doesn't necessarily fall in food and beverage in that they don't have the food quota that like a restaurant has.
No, I'm not saying that. In terms of staff, I would say well, maybe not actually. I guess it kind of depends. But the staffing situation is fairly similar from what I would believe. And what we're seeing in the restaurant industry is a lot more people with experience are walking away from the industry, and a lot of people without experience don't want to come into the industry. And, part of that has to do with long, hard working hours for what seems like not enough pay in some cases. And I think you're going to find it really hard to find enough staff to staff 35 plus breweries in that small area.
Rifkin.
With the, we also have tons of restaurants in Charlottesville, distilleries,
Vineyards, wineries. How about the catering for the weddings?
Businesses.
That's all the same niche.
All of it requires a similar amount of, staff.
Service.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only so many. I mean, anyone in the restaurant business knows that everywhere and everyone is looking for jobs, is looking for people is looking for staff. And it's only going to get harder unless you're willing to pay people more.
Which is going to do what?
Well, people aren't going to want to pay people.
It's going to drive up the cost of goods. It's going to drive up the cost of service. Mm-hmm. And it's going to mean that people that go to these
people are going to want to, craft beer is expensive enough. And so, when we're talking about being in a recession, are people going to want to spend their money on the craft beer that's now $2 more expensive because their overhead's gone up? Or are they going to want to stick with Bud Light that, has cost the same,
Are we going to see the tailwinds behind Bud Heavy? Are we going to see the tailwinds behind Evan Williams instead of Ragged Branch? Are we going to see the tailwinds behind Kendall Jackson instead of what? Pippin? Time will tell. Litza Lambrinos, watching the program. She's the queen of the corner. That's your new nickname, Litza Lambrinos. The queen of the corner. All these brew pubs are hurting the restaurants on premise. All those folks that are at breweries and wineries are not at restaurants anymore, and we feel it.
Wow.
It's a good point.
It's a very good point.
Buchensky says Pro Renata's got a weed spot now.
Yes, they do. I didn't know that was, I drove past it because my dentist is right over there. I saw it. It's
Andre Xavier owns Patch Brewing Company and CVille Hop on Tours. He says, I respectfully disagree. It is not too much. Most of the brands offer an experimental opportunity that appeals to so many people. Andre, you are right. Each location is unique. In the branding world, it's called omni-experiential. However, we do not know the impact of a recession because these brands, brewing booze, open in bullish, strong economic times. The economy is about to hit the crapper. I want to see what happens when 2023 hits and 35 brands brewing booze are fighting for limited disposable income. That's what I want to see, because it's not going to get prettier over the next 18 months. And anyone who thinks it will get prettier is living in an unrealistic scenario. Jamie Schwartz, she owns Picasso Swig, and she says, Joey, what do you do in this town if you don't drink? It's a great question.
And my answer to that is I have absolutely no idea, because I spent a long time in this city trying to find something to do and not like wanting to drink.
Because you're not a heavy boozer.
No, I'm not a heavy boozer. And I didn't start drinking until I was of age. So when I would find myself in the downtown corner area at around 18, 19, 20, there really isn't much to do besides go find somewhere nice to eat, walk around. But now I go on the downtown mall as an adult who can go into a bar, and I'm like, I see why so many people come down here. There's so many nice bars, so many places to get a good drink. And I just remember as a kid walking around and thinking, man, like the downtown mall is like pretty boring for the amount of people that come out here. Granted, I was, coming down to the downtown mall to sit at the Nook for a couple hours and leave. But a
lot of people make this comment. City of Charlottesville, the Charlottesville Downtown Mall, technically by definition is a public park. By
Really?
definition, the downtown mall is a public park. And a lot of people make this comment. We hear this a lot from socialist Charlottesville. If you are not wealthy and white, the public park that is the downtown mall is not for you. And they take it a step further. If you are not wealthy and white and into drinking, the downtown mall is not for you. I don't say that. Socialist Charlottesville says that.
I'm kind of inclined to agree with them a little bit. I mean, you walk around the downtown mall, and a lot of what you see is fairly expensive. In terms of the real estate on the downtown mall, I mean, that is 100% the case. If you are not wealthy, you're not going to be down there. I'm inclined to agree with them a little bit. I don't know exactly why, but I think they have a fairly good point. If you're not into drinking and you're not willing to spend the money, all you're really going to do is walk up and down a street a little bit, and what are your options if you don't have that kind of money? What are your options if you don't want to drink? You go get a nice dinner and you leave. It's really not much to do. Shows happen every now and then, but if that's not your thing, then that's really all I can think of.
Good stuff from him.
I was a big fan of the ice skating rink.
Yeah.
That was my spot growing up.
Who do you blame the collapse of the ice skating rink on?
My dad.
No.
No, I don't know. I don't know who to blame. No one. The city of Charlottesville.
I think the parking czar, Mark Brown, had a little bit to do with that. But I'm not throwing shade on the parking czar, Mark Brown.
No shade. The new building there is
Code building.
Nice. It's very
Joffrey's
nice.
building. Code building. It's a good one. Here's another piece of breaking news. This is the second piece of breaking news for you. We're breaking news left and right. If you're just tuning into the program, here's the first piece of breaking news. You will see this in traditional media outlets and legacy media outlets, TV and print, that watch this program to fill their news broadcasts and their newspaper pages. Barracks Road Shopping Center, where the old Nike store was located.
Okay, it wasn't very old.
Right, it was there for a New York minute, a cup of coffee, right?
Like a few years.
Yeah, the Nike store is now going to become a J. Crew. J. Crew is taking over the Nike store in Barracks Road Shopping Center. J. Crew replacing the Nike store in Barracks Road Shopping Center. That's the second piece of breaking news.
I mean, that's not even really that interesting.
I mean, that's breaking news.
It's breaking news, but it's, in my one...
What would drive more tax dollars for the city of Charlottesville? J. Crew or Nike? Certainly, Devil's Backbone filling the vacant spot on 1000 West Main that's been vacant for an extended period of time is good for Charlottesville City from a tax standpoint.
Yes, yeah.
That's going to generate tax revenue.
Yes.
How about J. Crew versus Nike? What drives more tax dollars for Charlottesville City? Probably J. Crew, right? Faith Stewart says, thank you for sharing the news. Faith Stewart, it's our pleasure. That's what we're here for. You'll see it in the traditional media outlets after today's show.
100% they will start reporting it after.
Yeah, you will see it. Like Anna's Pizza showed up yesterday.
Next day.
They showed up yesterday. We talked about that on Monday. Devil's Backbone is going to be all over TV and print after this. Viewers and listeners, what drives more tax revenue? J. Crew or Nike to the city of Charlottesville? I'm legitimately asking. I would bet it's J. Crew. Lauren is saying it's J. Crew all the way, and it's a factory store. It's a factory store, so you got good price points. That's good intel. I would say J. Crew. Scott Aaronworth says a Nordstrom rack would be great in Charlottesville.
I'm here for that.
Noel Jurgensen says maybe Joey can hike, play tennis, or play golf.
What does that mean?
Instead of the boozing, what would you do in Charlottesville if you're not boozing? She's offering you suggestions.
Hike, play. I've gone on. There are great hiking spots in the area. I grew up with my mom taking us on as many hikes as we could. Playing tennis is a good one. There are a few golf courses in the area. You don't have to go out to Glenmore or Keswick or wherever to go play golf. You can find some nice courses in the area. But just in the downtown mall area, that kind of strip, you're not going to find that much recreation in that kind of
Here's the
sense.
tough part. Here's a legitimate question. You're 21?
Yep.
Let's say you're a young millennial or a Gen Zer.
I am.
You're a Gen Zer.
I am.
Danny O'Day is what did he call it?
A zillennial.
A zillennial. God,
That's
you're good. Smart guy. He called it a zillennial. I like that. Do you like that?
I like that.
Let's say you're a zillennial, young millennial, or a Gen Zer, and you don't have a car. How the hell are you going to go hiking?
Yeah, I mean, and we don't.
Or play golf. You got to carry the bag. How do you go if you're a zillennial, a millennial, or a Gen Zer? How do you go hiking or play golf?
Well, I mean, America's dependence on the automobile is a huge part of this, and so that's a great point. I mean, if you don't have a car in general, what are you going to do in your free time? You know, there's not much.
Especially in this town.
Especially in this town.
Because public transport, how would you characterize?
Zero.
Okay.
Like zero, none.
Right.
Very,
not good.
very bad.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be as all over the place as it is. And so yeah, like your only way of having some sort of recreation to do, if let's say in this example you don't have a car, is you better hope you live in the downtown UVA area so you can walk somewhere, and you better like to go out and you know there's nowhere walkable in the downtown area. There are parks and such around, but for an adult who wants to find something to do on the weekend, walking to the park to play tennis by yourself or with someone, eventually, I don't know, you're gonna want to find something to do, and you're gonna need to have a car. And if you want more variety on things to do, one of my favorite things to do is go drive racing karts, and I have to drive an hour and a half to the nearest racetrack.
Where do you do that?
There's some up in Northern Virginia. VIR has a go-kart track.
Virginia International Raceway?
Yeah, all the way down near the border.
Obviously, he's a huge fan of Fernando Alonso,
my
the
guy.
Spanish racing genius. That's his
Champion.
lower third champion.
Lower third for today.
Lower third, his nameplate on screen. Folks are asking who Fernando Alonso is. Multiple people are.
Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion, Formula One world champion, 2005 and 2006. Absolute legend.
Melissa Denham says Charlottesville Albemarle Transit would have more ridership if it was free to everyone. Do you believe that? I don't think I necessarily believe that. I appreciate the comment. I'm not knocking the comment.
I don't know how much public transport costs.
It's super cheap already.
How
And
much
I
is it?
understand cheap is relative, but it's less about the price point and more about the robust nature of the routes and the reliability of the routes. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the whole public transport thing is very hard, especially when the only thing we rely on here is buses. It should be affordable. Like, it shouldn't be $5 every time you want to ride the bus. I'm hoping it's under $1 for what it costs to ride the bus. I know when I lived in Los Angeles, it was about $1.15 to ride the bus, $1.50 every time I got on the train. And man, Los Angeles public transport is better than Charlottesville, but that ain't great either. So unfortunately, as much as I would like public transport to be free to everyone, because I think that'd be great, in this day and age, that's just not going to work. There's going to have to be some sort of minimum cost for a rider to use public transport.
The gentleman farmer, Jay Wyant, the gentleman farmer, says, dude doesn't want me on a track racing him. Talking about you, he says he was ready to go. He's ready to go. Thomas Leroy, the king of food and beverage, says he loves Fernando Alonso and he's the oldest driver on the F1 grid right now.
As of Sunday, Fernando Alonso will be the most experienced driver in Formula One history. A little fun fact.
Fun fact right there. Tomas, you have a new moniker, the king of food and beverage. Jay Wyant, you have a new moniker, the gentleman farmer. I love this show so much. We're connecting with people with literally all over the Commonwealth right now. It is awesome. Beth Marcus, the queen of Farmington, she says you guys could walk dogs at the Charlottesville Albemarle SPCA. We love dogs here.
Love dogs.
I love dogs.
Love cats.
He's a huge animal fan.
Big
Me too.
cat guy.
Love dogs. Charlottesville Albemarle SPCA needs foster parents, and they need dog walkers, and they need supporters and donors. And she also seconds that a Nordstrom rack would be fantastic for this area. Nordstrom rack would crush it here. All right, it's 1:45, and you have some post-production work, and I want to make sure you get out at a reasonable time on payday today.
Payday today.
Payday today. What we learned this week. What we learned this week, we're going to go back and forth in staccato fashion. I'll start, we'll go one item a piece, and then just go staccato back and forth. What I learned this week, breaking news, Devil's Backbone is opening up a satellite brewery at 1000 West Main Street. Devil's Backbone, owned by Anheuser-Busch, will open in the former Hardywood location, the former Skipping Rock location, perhaps the best Virginia craft brewery situated to open in what is otherwise a cursed spot because of the cash on their balance sheet, basically InBev's cash. So they have the burn rate to potentially sustain a struggle out of the gates. Joey Rifkin, the show is yours.
Well, I'd like to start with something we talked about the show and then the other day, and then connect it with someone we had on today, mañana, yesterday. Realize that small local businesses and especially restaurants in the Charlottesville area are struggling and are being forced out by major corporations. And do as much as you can to be supportive of those small businesses. If you can, if you know anyone that's running a restaurant locally, help them out as much as possible. Support your friends, support your family, support local businesses. I'd just like to shout out Croby's Urban Vitals that was on yesterday. They've been killing it for the past 6 years on Avon Street. They're a perfect example of a local restaurant that is doing everything right and doing well. So make sure to support local restaurants over these big corporations, because they are driving out people out of their institutions that have been open for decades now, are being replaced by fast food chains. And We shouldn't want to see that.
Well
People
said.
in the community.
We saw Anna's Pizza close on Maury Avenue. We saw College Inn 977-2710 replaced by Chipotle. RIP, I'm pouring some out right now for the College Inn.
I can confirm coffee hit the ground.
I just poured some out for 977-2710.
Appreciate that.
I also learned, and I just mentioned this, that J. Crew is replacing Nike in the Barracks Road Shopping Center. I also learned that Albemarle County Superintendent Dr. Matthew Haas has given the Albemarle County community his word as a man and as a gentleman that he will provide the total rebranding costs for Cale Elementary, Jack Jewett Elementary, Sutherland Middle, and Murray High School within 5 days of me emailing him. I sent him the email on Monday evening. Dr. Matthew Haas.
Today's the day.
You watch this program. I know you do. I've been told. You're a man of your word. Character is important, especially in education, when you're shaping young minds. Please, Dr. Matthew Haas, do not disappoint Albemarle County, because we're going to have to hold you accountable if you don't live up to your word. We expect those total rebranding costs from you, Superintendent Dr. Matthew Haas, as you stipulated in the email that is all over the I Love CVille Network. Joey Rifkin, what else have you learned?
I'd like to go back to the first episode we did this week, and to all those parents out there that are concerned about what their children is doing on the internet or what content they're viewing. Just put yourself in there in terms of, take their phone, know what they're watching, know what apps they're using. Get into it yourself a little bit just to familiarize yourself and teach yourself some things you can learn about the social media and the internet, and just so you can be more aware of what your kids are doing on their phones or whatever, and find a way to enforce your rules in the house around technology in a way that isn't just I'm taking your phone, because that isn't going to go well. Find ways around it. Don't totally ruin your child's social life by banning them from talking to kids, but do be aware of what information, what content they have access to, and what information, what content they are actively watching. But do it in a, and I am far from a parent, and I don't know how you would do this, but find a way to do it in a personable way. Don't just take it from them, because kids nowadays see this as their everything. So just be careful with that, and but be knowledgeable on what they're doing with it.
Well said, Joey Rifkin. I learned this week that Andy Argon, an Albemarle High School product and an Albemarle High School graduate, am I stealing thunder from you?
I was going to get to that next. Go for it.
We'll do it together.
Go for it, yeah.
Andy Argon, A Squared Pizza, Detroit-style pizza. He generously dropped off pizza pie for Joey and I yesterday. It was banging. It was banging. Andy Argon started yesterday, Thursday, with roughly 210 Instagram followers. He now has 480. We highlighted A Squared Pizza on our Instagram account and across the I Love CVille Network. He has since posted 3 screenshots or 3 stories on his IG. He's explained to everyone that he is a local, small outfit. In fact, it's one person, and he encourages everyone to be patient with him. And he is now sold out through October 15th. He says he's working on responding to everyone still. Thank you for your patience. He is sold out after we did this post on I Love CVille through October 15th. In fact, we have correspondence from the King of Virginia Beach, Scott Aaronworth himself, who has ordered 2 Detroit-style pizzas from A Squared Pizza for February 11th, 2023. If you want A Squared Pizza,
know when you want it.
Know when you want it, and get on the calendar immediately. I want some A Squared Pizza take from you, JR.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you're lucky enough to get a pizza, be appreciative of Andy. He's such a great guy. We met him for the first time yesterday. And please be cognizant of the fact that this is just some guy doing this, just out of fun and for the love of the pizza, and for the love of the product. So be patient with him, be understanding with him. This is not his business, this is not his job. But it
might turn it.
It might. Hopefully, it does turn into a full-time business. But I do just want to say that this is a passion of his. This is something he puts a lot of effort into, and he does a very good job at it. So please be patient with him. Please be understanding with him. And I just would follow it up with what I wrote down in my notes is we talked about where to find the best pizza in Charlottesville this week, and I think. I'd have to say you might not know, but the best pizza in CVille might just be your next door neighbor. It might just be the guy making pizzas in the kitchen next to you.
Oh my God, Rifkin. That was amazing. Joey Rifkin, the young Jedi. Joey, speaking of pizza, I learned this week that Maria Bucetta, Marcella Watson, and Silvana Early, the talented ladies behind Anna's Pizza No. 5, are closing their doors after 46 years. I mean, the first place I ever ate in Charlottesville was Anna's. The first beer I ever drank in a restaurant was Anna's. December 19th, they shut their doors. And to reiterate what Joey Rifkin said, if we do not support the local brands and restaurants that we love, even if they cost more money, they're going to evaporate before our very eyes, especially during a recession. We have to have the mindset that we're going to spend more money at locally owned businesses when compared to, say, Domino's or Chipotle. Okay? And we have to spend more money at these locally owned businesses, or they're going to go away forever, and we're going to be left with big box brands that frankly don't epitomize or resonate the character of Charlottesville, Virginia. Please support it. JR, anything you want to add?
I just would like to finish off with, a hamburger is in fact a sandwich, and I will redact my statement about a hot dog being a taco, though. Because
did you catch some heat for that?
I didn't catch any heat for it. It was just more after further consideration. I feel the definition of a taco might include the use of a tortilla, so I figured taco doesn't apply to a hot dog, considering. Now, if you wrap a hot dog in a tortilla, completely different story. But I feel like a taco has to have a tortilla in there somewhere, so I am sorry if I offended anyone with the hot dog being a taco. I completely redact that statement, scratch that from the record. However, hamburger, cheeseburger, 100% a sandwich. You can fight with me on it every day. Till I die, I will disagree with you. It is 100% a sandwich. Meat, cheese, in between two pieces of bread. Look it up. Oxford Dictionary will corroborate my statement.
Joey, I love it. He stands by. A hamburger is a sandwich. Oh, Monday show features the Anna's Ladies, 12:30 on the I Love CVille Network. Anything else you want to close with, Joey Rifkin, my friend?
Thanks so much for having me this week, Jerry. It's been a blast.
It's been a blast. You killed it.
It's been awesome.
You killed it. You earned the paycheck, my friend. We love you guys. This is the I Love CVille Show, where we just have real conversations about real stuff in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Stuff that may make you uncomfortable, stuff that may make you happy, stuff that may make you sad, stuff that may make you angry, stuff that may make you elated. It's real conversation about real stuff in a community that we love. One of my businesses is called I Love CVille. I love the town this much. Okay? We will always do this. We went literally 90 minutes today without taking a commercial break. There's no one else doing this in this town. Nothing can be taken out of context. I'm grateful for Joey Rifkin and your viewership and listenership on the I Love CVille Network. Please, dear God, keep your business in the community and support the brands and businesses that you want to see survive what is undoubtedly a recession on the horizon. For Joey Rifkin, I'm Jerry Miller. So long, everybody.